Thank you, Mr. President. On the front page of the Astorian this morning is the headline, Habitat Conservation Plan Could Lead Toward Cuts in County Law Enforcement. Let me repeat that, colleagues. Habitat Conservation Plan Could Lead Toward Cuts in County Law Enforcement. Again, this is the Astorian. This isn't a right-wing or even a right-leaning newspaper organization. This is the newspaper of record of Clatsop County. The HCP, Habitat Conservation Plan, that the Department of Forestry is considering, despite intense pushback from residents of rural Northwest Oregon, is a 70-year plan that would cut $1.4 million from law enforcement and justice in Clatsop County alone. And here's what Sheriff Matt Phillips said. What's hard is we can't make up that kind of money by cutting training or vehicles or things like that, because 70% of our budget is just personnel costs. So in order to make up that kind of ground, we've got to cut positions. Now, maybe my colleagues here in Salem or other metro areas in the state are used to calling 911 and law enforcement coming in minutes. In rural communities, that already isn't a guarantee. Cutting that much from rural law enforcement will certainly make it even worse. The Department of Forestry has a very recent history of mismanagement and bad decisions. So you will excuse me if I don't trust the leadership of that agency and the financial and social health of my constituents. That's why we've introduced House Bill 3585, which will require them to consider alternatives to the proposed HCP. Unfortunately, it still isn't scheduled for a work session. Mr. President, I've heard many pretty words from my friends on the other side of the aisle about working for all Oregonian, about bridging the urban-rural divide. Words are cheap, and if not backed by action, they are insulting, patronizing, and are no small part of the reason for anti-government sentiment in rural areas. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator.